Primetime is the land of opportunity, and all that matters is who will be the answer when opportunity knocks. Tonight, as Primetime returns to the modern day Coliseum, we'll see a clash in the styles of the ages as two of the PlayStation's best known fighters will grace the octagon. Entering first, Leon 27, a quick-paced, hard-hitting man with a dynamite power in both hands and a will to win like no other. His fast-paced kickboxing stifles the competition, and he's looking to prove why he is in the main event. The opponent means nothing. The only battle I face is myself. But in order for Leon 27 to have his hands raised, he must first defeat one man. Entering G-Man, a former champion, a man who became the champ by following one game plan: to wrestle. His marauding ability and tenacious takedowns make him one of the most feared grapplers on the PlayStation side. The former champion is looking to put himself back into title contention with a dominating win here tonight. I've been the champion before, and I will be champion again. And so, with all that being said, viewers of Primetime, get ready for a night of action-packed fights and a main event that won't want to miss. Welcome to Primetime.
Welcome to Primetime and welcome to Fight Night 54. I am your host, Mr. Humbledink. Joining me in the booth today is Doctor, as you heard him there, and the man himself. He is from Ireland. He is Reaper. How you doing, Reaper, brother?
Mate, I'm doing fantastic tonight. I'm pumped. I'm ready. This show is going to be action-packed, stacked top to bottom, Doc. What a card we have tonight.
This card is definitely stacked through and through. The prelims, we've got the might of SMB Fonty, Mr. Toasty Toad Lepo, as well as Cole, also known as Limit from previous licenses, and Cole starting us out on the first prelim would be Mr. Smooth Jamil, also known as Ripper here, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. And you talked about the prelims, Doctor. I'm going to jump straight to the main event, Reaper. We've got Leon Stoll versus G-Man. You just talked about it. It's going to be a fantastic event this evening. How do you see that fight playing out, Reaper?
That's such a good fight between Leon 27 and G-Man. G-Man, obviously being a former champ, has suffered back-to-back losses, so he's looking to come out tonight and put on a dominant performance, Doc, I believe. With Leon, he's quite, he kind of hovers around that top 5, top 6, and now he has a really big opportunity tonight, Doc, to put himself in the competition and put himself in the names of the greats. I mean, you beat a former champion, Doc. You're going somewhere in Primetime.
Yeah, exactly. Beating former champions, beating the champion, they've got to that point by being the best of the best at that point in time, and beating those former champions adds just more and more to your career, more and more to your record, and that puts you in very good standing, especially as we get nearer to the end of the season. We're getting near to the end of the season, so your ranking is going to mean more and more coming to the very end of the season here, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. You represent as well. We keep talking about, and we'll talk about it again, the end of the season, the top 16 fighters will fight in a Grand Prix, Reaper. So you want to make it into the top 16. Obviously, then top 16 get first priority over everybody else. They're the ones who were initially invited to that tournament, and that's where it's all about. That's what the season's all building up to. I think it's been a long, long road so far, but we're nearly at the end.
Yeah, we are. It's been a great season. Some great names have come through, the likes of Sean Corkery capturing the Primetime Championship, doing great things for Ireland. G-Man taking over, then Smudger, Smudger came onto the scene out of nowhere, Doc, and just basically took over Primetime and shown that he is kind of a level above the rest here at the moment.
He did a fantastic job, part of the NM camp, if I'm not mistaken, and he just has dominated across the board in this PlayStation region. And so, I think we've talked about his card enough. Let's stay on the PlayStation division. Let's go straight into the first fight of this evening. Will be TT Hoo versus Smooth Jamil. Jamil? Yeah?
Smooth Jamal. How can you get that name wrong, Reaper? Smooth Jamal is the man. He has come over to the PlayStation side. This is a prolific striker coming from the Xbox division, Reaper. This guy had 20, 30 people watching him every single weekend, all the way through the week, streaming on Twitch, and he's kept that following. He's come over to the PlayStation side. He's trying to make short work of people to show he is still elite level.
Yeah, as Doc was saying earlier on, Smooth Jamal, aka Ripper, when I first came here, he was a name that was around the scene, and he was a dominant fighter. But I'm looking like, lads, come on, let's pay tribute here to this name, TT Hoo. Like, Doc, you gotta tell me. Oh, come on, man. Is that a class name or what? Like,
I mean, does it beat TK Jim Jams? I'm not particularly sure. It's definitely up there with the names. I'm pretty sure I've also seen a couple of like Duck on Quack. The names are brilliant, and speaking of names, make sure you stick by one, because especially in the case of Jamil, maybe you don't know him by that name, maybe you know him by Reaper. So it's just a quick tip there if you're looking to build your name and yourself in this community. As I say that though, the Jam, the straights are already coming out here, Humble.
I'm surprised Smooth Jamal has started so quickly. He's usually he likes to read his opponent. He's going to read, maybe he knows one or two things about his opponent already, but he's trying to make an impact early, meeting Rivera to the body quite early, Reaper.
yeah, at the start there, we seen a 3-0 win streak for Jamal, and that could just be spars, that could be ranked, but everything changes once you're under the banner of prime time. When the lights will shine their brightest on a Friday night, you have to perform, and right now Smooth Jamal has come out with sensational shot stock. He's picking his shots well, he's hurting Jimmy Rivera, and TT Hoo needs to probably take this fight to the ground, I would imagine.
Yeah, well, he's Rivera. He's a power puncher. He's doing the correct thing here, but he's also engaging a bit too much on the feet. There you go. That's exactly what you do. Lovely jab into that turning takedown now inside control. You can hold your opponent, look for maybe a top mount here, Humble. That's going to give you the most damage. Although Sprawl does allow you to do the damage to the body. If your opponent is able to get his back towards the cage and maybe has some success, instead though we see a full guard transition.
Nice work right there. You've got to put Sean O'Malley on his back if you want to try and build a little advantage. You could see him getting paced on the feet slightly. He's realised that he's capitalised on a takedown, and I believe Smooth Jamal's favourite position on this game though is top mount. Something's gone wrong here though. He's trying to change certain things. What is happening right there, Reaper?
I would say his grapple assist was off there, Humble. I think he was probably playing around without the grapple assist, and maybe he didn't like the idea. But listen here, Doc, he's in top mount now, and he can rain down some bombs here if he has the time to do it, which he does indeed.
He does have enough time. It's 2 minutes on top. You just need to make sure you get into top mount, either posture up quickly or look to get a deny, and then you can posture up straight afterwards. However, both of them having a lot of success so far here.
I'd like to see him get back to his feet, and as I get that, my request is granted like a genie. It came out right there. Nice work coming from Rivera, going Hoo is now starting to catch him back. The offense of Hoo is starting to go into Sean O'Malley, and Sean O'Malley is dealing with it quite well, I would say, Reaper.
He is, Humble, but you know what? You said his name wrong, Humble. It's not TT Hoo, it's TT Hoo. You have to put that little bit of emphasis on it. You got to give the man respect for that name. He's getting called TT Hoo for the rest of this fight, whether he likes it or not. But right now, Doc, Smooth Jamal is having a performance. He's literally using his teeps. He's using his range well. He has great outside boxing, and when he's in the pocket, he has great inside boxing. And Smooth Jamal looked sensational on the ground. Got the reversal. And as I say, the commentator's curse kicks off the night, Doc. Your front time guarantee right here, Doc.
Everything out of that block, and that block has stood still. Jamil only just staying out of the range of it. Rivera's got the power and he's kicking it, and he's going to shreds. On a side note, to just talk about O'Malley here, the knees, the body work of O'Malley did quite a lot to his body, quite a lot to that stamina as well here, Humble. And coming to this next round, that may play massive dividends to O'Malley, just being able to then be able to get a bit freer with the hands, get a bit looser, and really start to put the aggression on.
The dividends, you're completely correct as well. TT, he was doing really well going forward. He was really trying to kind of capitalize on those strikes, but as you said, Smooth Jamal realised on that, and he's starting to throw them knees now, and little sneaky shots will add up massively, Reaper, and that can take a huge effect.
Yeah, Smooth Jamal's done a great job of working that body, and he's done it in disguise as well. And it's almost like TT hasn't actually realised that he's been working it so much because it's just depleted completely, Doc.
Yeah, it really has just ruined the body. Now he's going to start going to the head, and that's how you like to be playing this game. Those knees, you work up body kicks into your game there. That's going to make your opponent be very wary of the body kicks, and then you can start going up top. It's always the case of if you work the bottom of the tower, the top of it is always full here, Humble.
Nice work. The core, you got to break the core of anything. If the core is the center of the surf, and it holds it together essentially, and that's what you got to do. The body, you break that core, you break the structure. Beautiful work right there though. He's changed his game plan, Reaper, and he's starting to throw the pressure boxing at him now.
Yeah, he really has to move forward. He can't stay in kicking range because that's where Smooth Jamal is having all the success as he goes for a takedown. I say that. But he's having such good success on the feet here, Doc, right? That he's really just peppered Jimmy Rivera, and Jimmy Rivera hasn't made the right adjustments to just stay in his face. He did there, but he ended up getting taken down from it.
Well, that was interesting. Gets denied twice on the arm triangle. Not every day you see that. Rivera's gone over and now got top mount. Maybe he was going for a fake. Maybe he wasn't. He's particularly sure. Now, though, another deny there. Rivera is happy to be on top. He didn't have to shoot the takedown. Probably going to be looking for a top mount position here. That's the most dangerous position you can be in this ground and pound position. And so he just needs to work past the dangerous full guard of O'Malley here, Reaper.
Yeah, you know, Jimmy Rivera right now, or TT, is having some success here on the ground. You know, he's in O'Malley's full guard, which isn't even a bad place to be, Humble, right? Because if you have O'Malley on the ground, it's an instant win, right? But when you're getting denied like this, it's got to be frustrating. I mean, you're getting denied on the ground, you're getting picked apart in the feet. What kind of game plan do you have left to work with when you're wrestling and your grappling isn't working, Humble?
I'm not quite sure. I don't know who's winning the fight. I'll be completely honest with you. A lot of people in the chat saying TT who won the fight in the first or won the first round, and the second round. If you look at that body and you look at the damage that's coming from O'Malley, with the drops like that, it's gonna swing it in his favour. And TT who is starting to pour on right now, Doc.
Yeah, he's really starting to pour it on, putting all that aggression and doing such a fantastic job. Constantly just working that body, working from any position he can. But that's a fantastic reversal from O'Malley there.
Nice work goes back to the body, Reaper. Sorry, boss.
No, you're all right, Humble. Do you know what I was thinking, right? I was thinking, Smooth Jamal has looked sensational in this fight, right? But we can't actually forget that he did get rocked and almost dropped in round one and did get dropped in round two, Humble. So, by my account, that's Jimmy Rivera winning the first two rounds. So, Smooth Jamal might need a finish.
Yeah, I have him up too, yeah. It's in my opinion, it's 2 rounds. The first one's closer. The second round, the damage was obviously in his favour. It's good work to the body, though. This is where the game plan we talked about earlier on of... You kind of like, it's like that race, you know, the 1,800 meter whatever race, whatever, Doc, you gotta hold yourself back until the last final round, then you sprint on, you sprint right at the end, and that's exactly what O'Malley's starting to do right now. He is sprinting for a finish, Doc.
He's really sprinting for a finish. He's hoping for all the hopes he can. Both of their chins are done. O'Malley's arguably got the more advantageous striking just because of his range, but on the elbows, that was impressive coming forward now. Head kick done. Lead hook out of gas. A spinning elbow in retaliation here, Humble.
Nice work from both guys right there. They're showing their class. Usually those big shots come, but he's got to be careful. He is not Smooth Jamal in this round. He is Sneaky Jamal Reaper.
I like that, Sneaky Jamal. Maybe he'll change his name again to Sneaky Jamal.
Sneaky!
Oh, and a sneaky uppercut gets the after work in the body. Fantastic job by O'Malley, hoping to the dearest, but Hoo is just still happy to stand there, digging down to the body, scarily enough. If I'm Rivera here, I'm just winging that head non-stop.
Oh. Nice work, goes back to the up kick, just misses him right there, Reaper, and he's got him again, and now he's going to be pushing him back towards that fence, gets the knees in, the uppercut's coming, O'Malley manages to dodge it, Reaper.
Yeah, Jimmy Rivera doesn't have the reach there, unfortunately, but you know what? TT Hoo is definitely using Jimmy Rivera to a pinpoint accuracy here, Doc. You know, he was having trouble in round one before he got that rock, but right now he seems to have figured out what Smooth Jamal wants to do. Again.
And he gets the K.
See, Hoo, let's go! What a finish for TT Hoo. And as Reaper would say, he's had a fantastic performance. He's had a name change to this one. You give him a beautiful nickname right there, Reaper, and what a performance! People are going to remember that one.
I really hope that nickname sticks. I really do hope that everywhere he goes now and he fights at, they just call him TT.
Well, there you go. You may have just won the award for the best name declared by Reaper. Fantastic job. Just put on the aggression. Your body was getting work, but you stood there, you struck, and you really put on that pressure to get in the third round KO here, Humble.
Yeah, and Sean O'Malley's a good fighter. In my opinion, he's one of the better fighters in that division because he has the reach and he's been upgraded enough now where he can compete with those guys. And he fights a bit like McGregor as well. We know that's kind of up. He's McGregor without that initial power.
Yeah, it's basically a McGregor without the power, as you said. And, he has that kind of long karate kind of style, in and out movement that you can really use your advantage against the shorter fighters, including a Yan Doc now. But in that case, you're talking about hashtag ban Yan in that case.
It's always hashtag ban Yan when it comes to this. The bantamweight division is quite diverse. You've got picks like Cody, and O'Malley's one of the better ones. You don't see too many Riveras, but evidently you fancy Rivera. Maybe wanted a bit of that wrestling side here, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. We'll talk about the actual reason those guys have to pick those characters as well, is because we have 4-star rule in the prelims. You get to pick the 4 stars. As you move to the main card, you get to everyone's kind of open. We also have a unique system here as well, where one fighter, I think it's the lower division fighter, Doc, am I right, that bans the fighter?
The higher rated fighter bans the fighter, the lower rated fighter gets first pick.
There we go. That's it right there. But what I was saying, Doc, is it's a unique concept that can kind of change the rules a bit. It throws a spanner in the works. If you know someone's favorite fighter, Reaper, you can ban that fighter and kind of play it into your advantage. So doing some research is key in this one.
Absolutely. I mean, come on, if I have an opponent and I know that he has a favorite 4-star Sean O'Malley, I'm going to ban that fighter. He is going to get first pick, but he's going to have to go with another character that he's not as comfortable with, Doc.
Yeah. Also works the same with someone like McGregor. If you don't fancy fighting McGregor's at featherweight or Holloway's at featherweight when you're in that main card position, ban them. Take your pick. It's very much adapting to what you see. For instance, Moroccan Lion, you can ban his card pick and you're all happy and dandy there. So I think that's enough discussion on the rules, fighter picks and such. We're going to be going to our next fight, where these two, I think, have been wanting to really do a Sam Alvey mirror, but sadly we've had to decline and instead, I'm not sure who they're going to go, but they're fighting in middleweight. This is Evo versus ICB Aleppo.
Interesting fight right now. 2 veterans of this community, 2 veterans of the game. That ping is Sauce Reaper, but 12 and 4. They've played each other a bit. Interesting to see the ping so high since they've played each other quite a bit. Maybe it's kind of a stable one. I'm not quite sure. Who knows?
Yeah, the ping, even though it is that high, it can always stable itself out throughout the match. You'll normally see it when people start trying to feel each other out with double jabs and then jab straights. Is always a good feeler out, Doc. Even if it doesn't stable, it gets you your range at least.
Yep, and that is exactly what you want to be doing, making sure to, when using that jab to figure out the range, because the jab's the main tool, but surprisingly also I would argue the lead hook combo is a very good tool, which a lot of people do underutilize with the jab, because the lead hook's there for you to come in to really just discourage them moving their head off to the side, while the jab encourages them to move their head off to the side.
Well, yeah, exactly. So you use your jab to set up your lead hook. It's a great concept of kind of make somebody move their head off the center line and then throw those combinations that you're stepping in. Your jab's also a tool to close range. A lot of people don't understand fighting very well. You need certain weapons at certain ranges. If you're great inside, you're great with your hooks and your uppercuts. You need to be great at closing that distance as well. And that's kind of the key, Reaper. You've got to close the distance. You've got to figure out ways to flow in, whether it's kicks, jabs, whatever it is. You've got to figure out your style to close that distance, not get caught coming in.
Yeah, definitely. And you know what, Humble, that segues into this matchup perfectly, because you've got Kevin Holland here, the longer fighter, right? And he's facing a powerhouse in Jared Cannonier here in the middleweight division. Such an underrated pick for power. Stamina is a bit sus, but Doc, an underrated pick for the power nonetheless. But what Kevin Holland, I believe, needs to do here is, as Humble said, use the jab, use your long rangey shots and stay out of the pocket and circle as much as possible, Doc.
Yeah, and that's what Aleppo's doing so far. He's circling quite a bit until we got clinched up, and now Candy's making it gritty. Lead hooks are making its way through that block, getting some serious damage on, as you can see, working that jab effectively. Ooh. Somehow the death kick misses. A little barrel of respect there as well. Evo needs to come forward, get that jab a bit more established. Ducks under, lead hook, gets the knockdown there, Humble.
He waited for that. He timed that. It was like he dangled a bit of candy in front of his head and said, "Go for that kick. I kind of know you're going to do it." And first attempt, he gets a nice rock right there. Doesn't get the knockout though, but he lets his opponent know now you can't continue throwing 3 pieces of the head kick or 2 pieces of the head kick. I'm going to be ducking that.
Yeah, the 2 piece in the head kick. The jab straight head kick is probably one of the oldest tricks in the book. At the start of the game, Doc, it was always such a great, powerful. You'd break the block and then you'd use the head kick. But now, with the way that these players are adapting to these situations and knowing combos And it just, you automatically duck after the 1-2, you know? You have to duck under the 1-2, Doc.
Hey, you have to, and that's sometimes the case. Well, that's also another thing. It's a jab, straight, lead, uppercut. You just work it between the two. There's a lot of ways you can set other stuff up. It's just knowing your arsenal, knowing the combos you can throw, understanding what's going to make what opponent move their head, where, if they're going to go back, if they're going to come forward to try and engage afterwards. It's just being a veteran of the game, and both of these guys know that. It's just who's going to be the one to adjust first here.
I'm loving Panda's style right now. He threw certainly going through the lead hook, rear hook straight, and it was a beautiful combination. He caught him down the middle with that straight at the end. It looks really nice as he tilted his opponent's chin back in the air. Throwing unique combinations right now, whilst Lepo is trying to get nasty to that body, trying to be a bit dirty, a bit grimace, and make this fight a bit ugly.
Yeah, you know, Evo's definitely having the smoother fight right now, I feel. That's a sensational overhand that is there, Doc. We don't see an overhand very much because it's kind of like a risky movement in this game.
Oh, he caught him.
Oh, Lepo.
Well then, that happened.
Yeah, it was a good fight. It was a good fight. That move does my head in, but yeah, it was a nice fight. It was a nice fight. I think he just said no. Did he say good fight? And he said no. Oh, he said.
It may be when it comes to Evo and Lepo. I think there's a bit of bad blood between the two of them. It should be mentioned that Evo is former ICB, so I can imagine it's going to be a little bit of bad blood there.
It was a good win for Lepo, right? I know it's that kick. We all talk about that kick. It's the Bruce Lee kick, and it's the spinning back. It's too quick on this game, but too much power and tracks. Yeah, tracks as well. But he used his skills to advantage. You know, he threw it 3 to 4 times around. That's not too much. And he's supposed to use Kevin Holmes like that, and that kick went through the guard, caught him straight on the chin, and knocked him clean out.
Yeah, I feel like, you know what, Lepo, right? Lepo's one of these characters where he just doesn't get along with anybody. I feel like Lepo could look at himself in the mirror and start a fight, though.
I don't want to say you're correct, but it's entirely possible. You have to ask the man himself. So, after that interesting Xbox fight between two killers in action, we're going to be going next on to... they weren't KIA, but they're close enough to KIA that you could argue it.
What? Move on, Doc. You're not KIA, but I love the guys anyway. But then, you know it. I know what you're trying to say, but yeah, the next fight, Doc, it's an interesting fight. It's a good fight. It's a fight between one of the oldest veterans in this game in Night Legacy, and he's going to be fighting, I believe, I can't see his full name, but it's ATB 92?
ATB 92110.
Oh, I missed 2 numbers.
I mean,
Reaper.
his game tag is something completely different of ATB and 1793, so maybe a bit miscommunication between numbers there.
Oh my days, that ping. What is going on? What is with the pings tonight? What is with the ping? It's not one of them nights again where EA is having a meltdown, Reaper, and the server's going crazy, because it can't be.
It's one of those things where you have to over-adapt in the come. We just seen it with the Lepo fight. You have to just adapt to these pings, Doc.
Jump into an insane amount.
They're ready. They're going for it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. We'll give you the opportunity. I
was about to say we're going to come back to that fight, but if they want to go ahead, they can go ahead, I guess.
It's all right. Like, in the day, we'll give you
opportunity.
We'll see how it goes. But
if you want to take the opportunity to fight on that ping, we go ahead. We do have. If it's not particularly stable, we are willing to reconsider, look at different options we can do. You are going to be fighting on high ping sometimes because we're an international league, and so you do have this on occasion. But this isn't the typical statement, say at least, Tumble.
Yeah, 100%. And shout out to Jay Diamond in the chat, who will be joining us tomorrow night. For the amazing card we have tomorrow as well. We'll join us live tomorrow, the same time as tonight, 8:30 p.m. UK and 3:30 Eastern, I think it is, Doc. But anyway, we've got a fight kicking off in the middle of the Octagon, Reaper, and Night Legacy and ATB are going at it. And Kelvin Gastelum looks like a light heavyweight compared to McGregor right now.
Yeah, he really does. Kelvin Gastelum in this game is absolutely huge. I know, yeah, I was thinking that myself there, Humble, with the stream. But, you know, Kelvin Gastelum in this game, I feel like he was designed to be a welterweight, but somehow he actually looks like a light heavyweight, though.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. He has got a really good jab, just on the side note of how they look.
We might have to leave this one, Doc.
We might have to.
They ain't good, man. Like, we can't put that on. There's nothing happening.
Well, they're back. If it pauses again, we will head up.
Oh,
Nope.
We jumped. Yeah,
Oh,
there we
okay.
go. We're done.
Yeah.
We give
done.
it a chance. We give it a chance. We give it the 1, 2, 3. The ref decided it's over.
Hopefully,
And,
we'll get word in the back of the result of that fight. But that
It sucks
fight,
for both guys, by the way. It sucks for both guys. We understand they want to be live on the show. Unfortunately, we're a worldwide league. You fight everyone. We do try to consider the sort of region, stuff like that. But we've got a ranking system that we base everything off. Everyone must try to fight everyone at least. And then we know after a while that you know, some people don't match up quite well. But anyway, hopefully the next fight is ready. It looks like we're going to have T-Soul versus Call Reaper.
Yeah, you know, I have spoke about these two men quite a lot. T-Soul's got that funky back foot movement. He likes his lunges, and you know, he's really good at it. He's really good at it until people catch on, Doc. But the thing about Cole is he's a sniper. He just susses you out, and within, I'd say, the first 2 minutes, he's got your game plan down to a T, and it's at bantamweight as well. So they're going to have a lot more faster movement here, Doc.
yeah, bantamweight is a really interesting weight across the board. It's fast, it's quick, and you still have that power, unlike flyweight. Flyweight suffers from a bit too much power. Bantamweight sorts you just enough, and with a pick like Cody and a pick with O'Malley, both of them are going to be hitting like trucks.
Yeah, definitely. We talk about this a lot. This matchup we see a lot in the bantamweight division. I'm not sure why. When you have Dominic Cruz and you have all these other fighters that can pick. Marlon Ferreira, I believe, is also a 4-star pick. They usually are when they come into the first sort of season on the when they get added as a created fighter. But there's so many characters you could pick. And Cody Garbrandt's got the 90 power, as we've talked about before. And Sean O'Malley, we've already discussed, we've already broke down. He moves like McGregor, he fights like McGregor, with just without the power and a bit more range. You know, it's almost like they got Izzy right with Sean. It's weird. But Garbrandt's got no chin reaper, and that's what you're going to be careful of.
Yeah, and I did hear you reference Dominic Cruz there, why they wouldn't pick him. Humble. Dominic Cruz is actually a 4.5 star fighter now since his latest update. He is indeed since his latest update. So you actually got to keep Dominic Cruz for the main card, which I don't really see a lot of people using with the likes of Rob Fons, TJ Dillashaw, you know, so on and so forth. But you're dead right, Humble. You know, they did get Sean O'Malley right in this game. And Cody Garbrandt is a little bit chinny, but we did see last week, we've seen a competitor use Cody Garbrandt, and he used him to full effect, and he went full on Garbrandt, and it actually worked out, Humble.
Never go full Garbrandt, you know. It's if you go full Garbrandt, bad things happen. But what's interested me so far in this one is the counter movement from Joy. He's moving backwards constantly. He's making Sean O'Malley, who's essentially a counter fighter most of the time. He only goes forward when he takes over the fight initially, after the sort of initial barrage of striking from the counter striker block. And you're seeing him press the action at the moment, walking with a lot of shots from Cody.
Yeah,
and it's something. Oh, sorry, Doc.
I was going to say, he's just having to be difficult. The best way to defeat the pressure is just by putting that offense off here, Reaper. And if you're Cody, you've got to be wary of that chin, but you've also got to make sure that you're still putting on the aggression. You're not staying too defensive. Otherwise, you just allow your opponent to take over.
Yeah, T.O. Soul uses Cody Garbrandt.
Ooh.
I feel like the way he uses Cody Garbrandt in such a way that he really protects his chin, right? He'd rather have his legs eaten up than his chin eaten up, even though the legs, when you get hurt, can take away the power, Humble. But T.O. loves to fight on the back foot. It's his bread and butter. He very rarely moves forward. I think I've seen T.O. Soul move forward twice in a prime time fight. But the likes of Cole, as you were saying earlier, Humble, he's a sniper, and that's just it. He just knows everything about this game. He's so underrated for a PlayStation player, and he's a dark horse in this division, Humble.
Oh, interesting. I don't know too much about Cole, but I'm starting to, and he's doing a really good job of mixing up. What I'm noticing from his gameplay so far is that he never throws the same strike over and over. It's a lot of different shots, and that's very difficult to kind of get a read on. So counter-attacking that, it's kind of the perfect matchup. You've got a counter-striker trying to counter-attack, and you've got a striker mixing up his shot, throwing singles, throwing different rhythm, trying to disguise his shot so his opponent can't counter-attack. It's a great fight. Oh, the leg. The leg is compromised right now. That's 2 or 3 health events to the leg Reaper, and you know he's got to stop that. It's going to take away the power, as Doc talked about earlier on.
Yeah, and you know what, right? T.O. Soul had this problem last week where he stayed out of range too much and tried to use his movement, and it worked for the first round. You know, he did get quite a few rocks and quite a few health events. But as the fight went on, he was very easily read and countered. And Cole is one of those guys that he's like software. He just downloads data, and he's done it so quick, as I alluded to earlier on, Humble. He just a minute into the fight, and he knows your game plan, and this is what makes him so dangerous. Even though his stamina is kind of going a little bit, it goes to his work ethic of trying to take out T.O. Soul so quick.
Yeah, exactly that. He's got a brilliant work ethic, and he's trying to hunt his opponent down right now. Catch him with a few big shots right there as Joey kind of circles out. He's got to be careful because I've noticed some stuff in his game as well. Like, you know, you can capitalize on if you are the fighter kind of pressing, and Cole needs to really watch the movement at the moment from Tio Sol and trying to predict that rather than trying to strike him before he moves. You know, predict the movement after, like fake some strikes. You fancy your best friend to your doc. If you throw some feints in there, your opponent moves without you actually throwing, and then you've got a much more clear shot when they reset.
Yeah, and that's what you want to really do. Always making sure you got the clear shots. Always making sure that the window's open. With that counter window there, you can see him hunting that pullback, but he's also got to be wary of now. Now O'Malley's realised that, and so he's firing the straights, and then he's got that lead hook when he puts his head off to the side. So it's just about reading your opponent, making those adjustments there, Reaper.
Yeah, I'm starting to see something humble in this fight, and I caught it last week as well with the Orthodox fighter, but I feel like if Cole goes back into Southpaw, he's going to get a rear head high kick KO here, flash KO. I can see it coming, humble, to be honest with you, if he goes back to Southpaw.
I'll tell you what this is like at the moment, and it's a very easy comparison. Dominic Cruz versus Vieira last week. You've seen Dominic Cruz kind of dip his head to the side, and obviously move to the side a lot, and that's what Cole's kind of doing at the moment. He's landing with the leg kicks, right? So every time your opponent moves left or right, you're going to walk into your kicks, which are going to bring more damage. That's why the kicks are so powerful. So obviously when the body kicks and the head kicks start to come, you're going to have some success. I can't say the word, Doc. Success with that. Success, I said it. Successful.
Yeah, and making sure you're always having success in whatever you're doing is what you want to be here, Reaper. Just always adapting, adjusting, and keeping on your opponent, making sure they don't get ahead in any way, shape or form, just to make sure you're always a part of it.
Yeah, well, I believe you said it best there, Doc. Absolutely. Adapt and adjust, right? Tio Sol has made the adaptation and the adjustment to now take the fight to the ground. He needs to be a little bit more calmer here, humble, because his stamina right now is still regenerating itself. But if he can hold the fight here, he can do some work to that body if he just lets go with the punches.
He's got to do some damage. And also, you want to find out if your opponent can grapple. You want to find out, and at the moment he's moving freely. He's in mount now, a great position. He's got to let his stamina build right to the top before he decides to move. And smartly from O'Malley gets out the top there, and Garbrandt still on top. Stamina-wise, I do like, Cody on top because of O'Malley. Oh, there we go. That's what he needed, Doc, and this could be dangerous.
Yeah, and making sure you're holding any position. Side control is a really dangerous position. Back mount, if he can get it, is also dangerous because he can get the back flat, get up there, hit on the head. Now he's got the choice of here going for a takedown, or that's what you want. Now maybe a backside ground and pound position does quite a lot of damage. That is a very evident transition, but does manage to end it now, going rolling into backs in. You've got to remember that backs rear naked choke is banned from this position currently, and so he only really has top out, maybe an armbar or back sitting here. Reaper.
Yeah.
Beautiful reversal there from Cole, and Cole's going to want to get back up to the feet here, humble. And Tio Sol had some good success there on the ground, especially when when Cole was getting a little bit zealous to get back to his feet, and there again, humble, another great takedown to end the round. But I'm looking at Sean O'Malley being 2-0 up here at the minute.
Yeah, the damage it's interesting. As you've seen right there, though, it's very close on that. It's a rough fight. It's a tough fight to score. Obviously, the takedowns, it depends how much they weigh in the judge's opinion, but we talk about it all the time. The third round is the most important. If Tio Sol can get some damage off in this one, maybe he'll kind of steal the fight, and he's doing a good job, I've seen, of counter-strike, and he's also starting mixing the takedowns as well, and that's a product of Coleman coming forward with the frustration, or Cole coming forward with the frustration, and making those takedowns a lot easier, Doc.
Yeah, making sure that you're coming forward just to put this aggression on can just allow your opponent to find the openings, and, as you said, make takedowns easier here, Reaper.
Yeah, and the one thing I am noticing here now coming into this third round is Cole's stamina. It's quite a little bit lower than Tio Sol's, right? And I'm noticing that Cole's throwing a lot of combinations when he enters the pocket. Now, Tio Sol's doing a great job of leaning back and getting out of the way. But if he changes humble, if he changes that lead hook into a rear uppercut, he will get a rock on Cole. I'm almost certain about it, humble.
Yeah, he's dipping his. I can see the same thing you're seeing, but he's got to kind of make those reads, and he's sticking to a game plan that seems to be working, which I kind of like. I'm surprised that Cole hasn't made the reads on Joe. He needed to throw feints. He needed to try and draw him out of that sort of game plan, because you can't just chase someone around the octagon throwing strikes out slightly out of range. They're going to time takedowns. They're going to time certain shots. And it doesn't matter about their skill set in combination, Reaper, as well. They can throw pretty much anything because they're just out of range.
Yeah, pretty much. You're spot on there, Humble, and they're doing such a great job now of being on the ground. And as Teo Sol looks to lock up a submission here, this is kind of one of those burn the clock type of moments, right, Humble? You want to get a read on your opponent's movement and see what he's up to. But, Cole's doing such a good job of staying calm now, right? I alluded to it earlier on in the second round. He was quite zealous to get back to his feet, but now he's really calm. He's picking his moments to transition, and he's having a bit more success here, Humble.
Yeah, he definitely is. And Doc, the only issue is who's winning this fight at the moment. We talked about it earlier on. You definitely got one person kind of winning this round so far. You have T Sol thinking he's kind of winning the round, but even Reaper said during the break, he's 2-0 up. Oh, he gets a leg rock.
Getting the leg rock is what you want. He's going hell with bells there, just getting those jabs, slipping off to the side. Maybe he's 2 rounds up, maybe he's not. We've seen how peculiar the judges can be, and so kind of what you want to be doing, and this is going to sound absolutely mental. Just look for the KO, and that's coming from a decision merchant myself.
Oh, the hell, nothing left to throw at his head. I'm actually thinking that Gabba might be 2 up, so this is a tough fight to call because of the leg damage that he had in the first round. Oh no, that was Sean O'Malley. My bad. Yeah, I believe it's 1-1. I believe it's 1-1 going in this third.
I do have a 2-0 going in with Cole, but that's the great thing about these judges, Humble. They take away our job for us, and it keeps us in the clear pretty much, Humble.
16 seconds, 15 seconds left. Who wants it the most? Going for the overhand. He's been. Oh, he gets dropped on his ass right there, and Sean O'Malley might have just stole the fight. What a fight!
Jesus. Both of them putting on action-packed performances. Maybe O'Malley sneaking it his way to very through. He's particularly sure here, Reaper.
Yeah, you know what? That's a difficult fight to call. And as I'm thinking about it more so, what Humble was alluding to is it could have been 1-1, but I have a feeling this might go to a split decision, Humble, and someone's going to be upset about that, even though there was a rock there in the final moments.
I have no clue who's won this fight. It's obviously the judge. It's such a strange fight to score because they both had moments, and we're about to find out. And it's going to go to... Teo Sol gets the win by decision. Like I said, it was tough to score that fight, and you had it 2-0 at the second round to Sean O'Malley, and those leg rocks are a big part of that. But the work from Teo Sol, the constant movement on the back foot, Doctor, it really frustrated his opponent and walking into those shots.
Yeah, it really did. I just flicked off as they went over to stats, and I've got to admit, it was 19 to 46 total single strikes overall. I've got to be wary that it's between different rounds, but that's sometimes the way it goes. Fantastic performance from both of them. They looked fantastic either way. Teo Sol coming out as the victor, but Limit putting on a good performance using O'Malley here, Reaper.
Yeah, it was a great fight. Teo Sol used his signature movement, his back steps, his side steps, his lunges were a big deal, which caught him a little bit early on with the leg rocks, Humble, right? But he did adapt to it with the wrestling. He was able to lower the hands of Cole to get the rocks when he needed them. Yeah,
100%. And he stuck to the game plan throughout. And the person who didn't adapt essentially lost the fight. Cole needed to realise he was chasing a lot. He wanted to fight. He was really wanting to kind of put his hands on his opponent, and his opponent used that to his advantage, just as you should. You need to be deceptive. You need to go out there and kind of trick your opponents into doing stuff that you need to do. You want them to do, and that's exactly what Teo Sol done, Doctor. Well, that's going to move us on nicely into the next fight.
Yeah, the next fight will be TMF Toasty Toes versus my brain's blanked. KM Intro. That'd be the one. KM Intro. He is a fantastic striker around part of the KM, and Toasty Toes has turned out to be a fantastic fighter striker in the past, putting on a brilliant performance last week against Mr. Beefat Warbsy. He dominated that fight with Lyoto Machida coming in and out style. Will he be able to perform this at featherweight using someone like Zabit Nurmagomedov? Dolph versus Anthony Pettis here.
Wait, before we move on to me and you here, we need to address the elephant in the room right now, and that's the way the doctor just said his name. Doctor, can you repeat that?
Zabit Magomed Sheriapov.
Yeah, that's better, replay. He said it right.
If it doesn't first succeed, try and try again, Humble.
Never give up, Doctor. And you'll eventually get there, and that's exactly what you did right there. Proud of you on that moment right there. But yeah, Zabit is he's a well versatile striker. He's somebody who I'm absolutely gutted that we're not going to get to see in the UFC anymore. He's actually went and become a doctor, which is crazy, and he's set up his own fight league. But Pettis is one of the most diverse and explosive kicking experts that's ever been in the UFC, with some of the best knockouts or knockdowns that's ever existed in the UFC. Reaper.
Yeah, he is, but he's also at featherweight here against. You know, when you're facing you're expecting your elbows, you're expecting your Osagari trips, Doc, and I believe with the way that oh my god,
that oh
no,
what is this before? Oh my god, Toasty's come out like Zabit, to be honest. Kicking, screaming, I'm gonna kick you in any part of your body, make up anything. He's playing like a rushed animal. He probably needs to slow down here before he gasses himself out, but he's done quite a lot of body work and general stamina damage to the likes of Intro. But Intro comes back and gets knocked down reading that thing and then going down to the body here, Reaper.
Yeah, I love watching Toasty fight. He just doesn't care. Like, that's the best thing about him, Humble, right? He just doesn't care. He's going to stay in your face. He's going to Osagari trip you, and then he's just going to lie on top of you and elbow the chin off you.
Yeah, he's doing well, though. It's a good game, kind of unpredictable. He's a fast starter, right? He's a fast starter, and he catches a lot of people cold, especially when you're coming in here with the nerves and the sort of the anticipation. You're kind of waiting for a strike. You're trying to get a read on your opponent. You try to concentrate your footwork at the same time. You don't want to pay too much attention to what's going on outside of that. And he came out of just through combination after combination, caught his opponent, and did a fantastic job of catching him cold.
Fantastic job there. Now goes into the side saddle. We're knocked down a piece on the feet, but so far the grappling looks pretty dominantly in Sheriapov's favour. And now ground pound position here can do a lot of damage. Manages to keep the block high and healthy. Has got a lot of positions to go to now, Reaper.
Yeah, but when you're in Anthony Pettis' guard, Humble, that's a dangerous place to be, right? This man's got triangle chokes. He can wrap up the guillotine. He's a very, very dangerous fighter off his back, even at the likes of welterweight, featherweight, and lightweight. In all his counterparts, he just has that submission ability, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. He's defeated some people by submission. I think he won the championship by submission, if I'm correct, against Benson Henderson. I believe that this guy's got to win over Cowboy Cerrone by submission as well. So there's a few different ways he's kind of won that, but he hasn't got back to it in a while, and he's a black belt as well on the ground, and he's great off his back, but they are back to the feet. You're seeing some upwards elbows coming out there. Anderson Silva, cage rage style, Doc.
This is a completely different perspective we're seeing from Toasty. He's not really using his hands as much. He's more going for kicks. He's more going for general stuff. He's not setting up any of his kicks with the boxing, and that may be the issue when you come into this later down line of Intro just making the reads there. 20 seconds left in the first round. This has been action-packed. We've seen both striking and grappling. Looks like Toasty had the more diverse range within the grappling exchanges. Intro seems like he may be able to catch him more in the striking department. However, Toasty is making itself known that he's still able to stand and bang here, Reaper.
Yeah, I feel if Toasty just slows down a little bit, because that first round was hectic, as Humble was alluding to. He was trying to catch him cold, and he wanted to put him on the back foot straight away and kind of dominate the center of the cage. But Kane Intro's one of those guys that will adapt on the fly, Humble, and if you give him any type of read, he's just going to be in your face.
Osagari trip right there. Doesn't quite get it, Reaper, and I'll let you finish your point as you were alluding to.
Yeah, it's just basically that Toasty needs to slow it down, and if he does slow it down, it kind of works in KA, or in KA, do you hear me? Just throw me off with the KA thing earlier, in KM Intro's favour, because Toasty's one of those guys that will slow it down to the point where he feels like he's getting bored, Humble, and then he has to go 0 to 100 again.
Yeah, and then you obviously can time that and you can predict that, and it becomes actually one of the weakest parts, because once you can control and actually predict what you're going to do, you can control it and kind of set something up. I guess what I'm trying to say, Doc.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Toasty's got to be aware of, is his opponents eventually, as time goes on, as it gets later and later into these rounds,
neat.
his opponent's going to get a read on how Toasty explodes, and that exploding starts to wear off and how much damage your opponent can do. Lovely couple of jabs there, now a body kick to the side. Got to be wary though, Intro has sidestepped out in the past, and that could be a danger coming into later this round. Going for a takedown there. Lovely spin kick there, but a takedown there and lands it.
Kick. That was a combination and a half, Reaper. Did you see that?
I did indeed. It was almost too quick for my eyes, Humble. KM Intro has these fantastic combinations that just you know, he's one of those guys that moves freely in the cage, right, Humble? He has no limitations to him. He's just one of those lads that can just move at his own pace and just, you know, he just has a way about him, Humble, is basically what I'm trying to say.
100%. Clip that and get that man a camera, because that is the flashiest you're going to see tonight. Beautiful work from Intro. Not so beautiful now, though, Doc, when he's on his back. He has got to the guard position, but he does have Toasty Toes on top of him with a great, you know, Cheshire wrestler.
Yeah, and that's what you want from Pettis there on bottom, making the reads of the ground and pound, getting the reversals, and now going into this top man ground. The position does get up, and that's what Intro's happy for. As you can see, that gas tank is slowly going down faster and faster into the favour of Intro, and this coming into the end of this round, probably going to the state of next, is where Intro's really going to have the ability to shine here.
Nice work right there. Goes for the feint again. Oh, beautiful work coming from Intro. Gets caught with that kick to the face. And these guys are just going to keep us waiting for a second as they come back to it. Reaper misses the kick. I thought he was going to do it, Doc. I thought he was going to do it.
I actually thought he... Sorry, Doc. I'll let you go.
Well, sometimes you think going to do something, and instead they don't. Both of these guys have a diverse arsenal. He's landing heavily and he's landing powerfully, but it's just a case of who's going to land the most damage to really win this round, it seems, Reaper.
Yeah, and those two body healths. Those two body healths are coming home. You know, they're not going to be here for much longer, Humble, the way these two men are fighting. And it's been really enjoyable to watch them work the body as much as they are with their knees and their roundhouses.
Yeah, they're through a lot of each other, you know. I'd like to see some clean boxer combinations, but these guys are giving us a show right now. As you see the body work at the end of those shots coming again, you've got to predict that. It's nice work from Intro. He goes for the fake to the body, tries to set it up. Beautiful stepping jab as he takes the chin back of Zabit. Great work so far, Doctor, from Intro. I'm liking the combinations that I'm seeing from him.
Yeah, he's staying calm, he's staying patient, he's mixing up the differences between the kicks, between the punches, and that's kind of how you want to be catching your opponents. Lovely denial there of the full guard, gets into crucifix. Now he's got to stay patient, because this is what happening. He gets into crucifix, can't land an elbow, and then ends up inside Sandal instead. He's got some dangerous elbows position here, but if you don't land them on the head, you're doing no damage, Reaper.
Yeah, you know, the idea behind those elbows is to absolutely crack a chin and have as much success as possible as you can, Humble. But, you know, for Toasty, right, he's really started, you know, to kind of work out a game plan here, Humble. He wants to get the fight down when he feels like he's being overpowered or pressured too much. And to be fair to him, Humble, he has really done that as the fight's gone on.
Yeah, nice work. Every time he mixes up really well, the Toasty, you know. He's getting... Those combinations are difficult to predict. You don't see those combinations. You can't spar against those combinations. They're not something that everyone can throw. And when you get in there and someone's throwing that at you, clearly there's opportunity to hit him, because he has hit him. That body's dangerous and, you know, he's killed it. But Reaper, he can take him out at any second, and that's what you've got to be careful of. Oh, nice work, though.
Jesus, that body is just getting worked over and over again. Surprised he didn't die by the knee there. He's got to be wary of that head kick. Pace is wanting set up. That's a dangerous position to be in. Digs down to that body, gets the body stun. Oh! This is the case of who's going to work each other's body the quickest. Both of them are stunned heavily. Both of them are just looking for it. They're both blocking their head, but they both know they don't want to hit your head. They want to work your body. They want you peeing blood here, Humble.
Yeah, nice work, and shout out to Fake Prioxis in the chat. But beautiful work as these two. Oh, the knockdown! He hits it with the uppercut. He crumbles to the floor, and Pettis is trying to get the win. Now we have 1 minute left. Is there going to be a finish in this one, Reaper?
Do you know what, Ray? I think for both of these gentlemen's sake, they better hope there's a finish, because if this goes to the EA judges, Doc, someone is going to be so upset.
I don't know. I don't know if it makes it to the judges. I don't know what's going on. I just know that the Beat's trying his damnedest to stay alive. Nobody's particularly sure what's going on. Digs down. Could we see a couple punches? Top mount position. Pettis raining down shots, and he gets the
he gets him! Intro with the win, Reaper.
Yeah, you know what? That's one of those fights where you don't want to see a man lose. That's just how entertaining it was, right, Doc? That was one of those fights where you just want both of those men to get a draw or a win or whatever you can, because they put on a show for us tonight, and they brought the primetime guarantee tonight.
Normally we see people headhunting. Both of these men, on the other hand, didn't want to throw headhunting straight out the window and instead went for body hunting. They just dug to that body every single time, looking to work your body over and over again until one man was out unconscious, and that man sadly had to be Mr. Toasty Toes there.
Definitely, and that, thank you to Bang Bang Your Dig in the chat, obviously giving out one of the prolific players amongst the community, also gifting out those tier 1 subs. Thank you so much for that. Anyway, we get back to the fight this evening. It was a great performance that we've seen from Intro. His team are going to be proud of him. He's going to move right up there. And obviously, as we move up these sort of prelims now, we know these guys are going to started fighting for those spots. The spots in that top 16 that we keep talking about, Reaper. And we move on to the featured fight of tonight. It looks like we're going to have Kai versus Fonty. This is going to be a banger.
Well, as you were saying there, Humble, those top 16 spots matter now more than ever. We're in the final 2 weeks of this season, and those top 16 spots matter so much now that you get your finishes in, and you get your first round KOs or second round KOs or any KO that you can get to get those extra bit of points. And Fonty has actually been stuck up a tree tonight. The unfortunate tree has captured Fonty on such late notice. We're going to get Kai versus
Executioner.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, sure
okay.
is. If you say so.
Execution.
They are referring to my quickly bad spelling of the word name Executioner in our chats here. That's what I'm currently.
Execution.
I was writing quickly, and as everyone should already know, I can't spell for love or money, even how much I type.
So wait, who is Kai fighting? Who's Kai fighting?
Kai is fighting Executioner.
Oh, he's really called Execution. Oh my god, that's brilliant. What a name.
Yeah, but his gamer tag seems to be Steezy. Bit underwhelming, but we continue. But looks like this matchup will be a Masvidal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Have I pronounced that correctly, Humble?
Yeah.
Hey,
anyway,
we're getting somewhere.
Listen, this is a great fight. You've got a Cuban versus an Argentinian. These two are from places that people are made different. They're from those difficult times, the difficult places. You know that from the backyard fights that Masvidal's been through. Ponzinibbio screams that every single fight as well, Reaper. And you're going to see a bit of a street fight in this one. This one's going to be a bit of a wild one.
Yeah, Jorge Masvidal versus Santiago Ponzinibbio, this is basically just a backyard brawl. Both of these men live for backyard brawls. It's where Masvidal grew up. It's where he earned his stripe stock. And Santiago Ponzinibbio has a chin on him to the point where he doesn't really care about getting knocked out. He just wants to put on entertaining fights. And hopefully tonight, Doc, that's what we get from these two gentlemen.
Yeah, hopefully we do get a fantastic performance. Both of these two are going to be well versed. They're both strikers. Ponzinibbio hits about as hard as Lawler, and Lawler's a very good 4-star pick. So expecting kind of the same on what both of these two are going to performance here.
Yeah, it was difficult to watch Lawler in his last fight. Actually, Lawler's going to be fighting that guy. It's going to be interesting. But Masvidal right now just announced as well that he's going to be fighting Burns. I don't know if you guys know that, but that'll be interesting. Twinkle Toes versus Sleezers. Going to be a good one there. Throw it down right now. It's a bit of a bar burner, just like we said earlier on, Reaper. They've come out firing, and those kicks are not going to do many well getting caught in the pocket right there.
Yeah, how can you call yourself Twinkle Toes and then use a fighter like Jorge Masvidal that just wants to stand there and get punched, Doc?
Because I don't know. Twinkle Toes is an interesting name, to be fair. Executioner, or known as Sleeger, see we've been here, are both interesting names. Both fantastic names. This card has really been the night of names, but these two are wanting to put on one hell of a performance. We've had a fantastic performance last fight. These two just want to have a boxing masterclass this time round.
There's a lot of kicks coming out of both, but they're using their boxing really well to set each one up. Nice work from Twinkle Toes as he gets him running right now, and he's on the back foot. He's struggling to kind of get going at the moment. Ponzinibbio, you can kind of tell in the character pick who is the sort of better character, as well as the person who's using them really well at the moment, Reaper.
Yeah, you can always really tell about who's the better pick. You know, Jorge Masvidal right now is a household name. If you're talking to a casual fan of MMA and you say, "Oh, do you know Santiago Ponzinibbio?" You know, if you say, you know, Santiago Ponzinibbio, they're going to ask you, "Is that a disease or something?" You know, they're not going to know who he is. Jorge Masvidal is just one of those guys that's a household name, Doc. And let's be fair, like his KO of Ben Askren, you know, that's going to go down in history.
Oh my god, both of these guys. Well, another stunt in the retaliation, and a run kick happens there as well.
That's too funny. He catches him, sleazes, Jesus! He goes to the body, goes to the head, he's got him rocked and wobbly legs, and Ponzinibbio is really trying to stiffen him up right now, Reaper.
Yeah, you know, Santiago Ponzinibbio basically said, "I will take your knockout of Ben Askren and I will raise you a rear head high kick, Doc." Santiago Ponzinibbio wants to make a name for himself here against a very, very viable welterweight.
Yeah, very viable welterweight, and he's just, look at those jabs, the leg kicks. He's got so much power in those hands that those chin just gets knocked back every time. But so does Jorge. Jorge's coming forward and just knocking those 2 cents into him as well. Both of these guys just wanting to non-stop engage.
It's worked right there. He's got him against the fence. He's really trying to cut him off without... He's not really block breaking him either. He's using good movement. He's using good pressure. I really like what I'm seeing out of him. But, you know, he is facing the Executioner, Reaper. He's got to be careful with those head kicks, because if the Executioner takes him out in this one, he's going to live up to that name. And with a name like that, you know, you get put in the headlines very quickly.
Very quickly. If your name is the Executioner, you better be able to execute something, Doc, whether it's a game plan or take a man's soul from his body. You'd want to be executing something, we're telling you now.
I mean, Reaper, you're meant to be the Reaper.
Now, hold on here, right? Don't you even start. I've had a bad season, right? And hold on here now,
You're number 12? You're number 12, Reaper?
Yeah, you're number 12. You're
doing
doing pretty good, in all fairness.
Yeah, no, thank you, Humble. I appreciate
I'm not going to let Doctor diss you like that, Reaper. We're literally talking about the Grand Prix coming up, which you're going to be in. And, you know,
I'm going to be in it as well,
shut up, Doctor. It's only me that's been bad. I know what you're both trying to say. You can both suck it. Executioner comes out
humble,
firing
stay
up.
humble, but Leisure coming out with the head kick there. Both of these guys putting on one performance. That's the commentary booth implodes at each other.
Oh, love
30
it.
seconds into this fight, and both of these guys are putting on a performance, looking for those boxing combinations non-stop here, Reaper.
Yeah, you know, and we're really seeing this.
Oh, he drops him. This could be it. He's been executed. He's been executed. The Executioner has been executed. Incredible.
Humble, that sounded so WWE, that did just now.
I don't care. Listen,
That
the
was
chat's exploding. People are calling each other out left, right, and centre. The commentary team are fighting each other. The people in the octagon are giving us that guarantee. It's the free chip prelims. It's primetime 54. Let's fucking go, Reaper.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately for the Executioner, he was executed tonight. And you know what, Doc? I feel bad for him because he went with the lower rated choice and it didn't pay off for him tonight, unfortunately, Doc.
I mean, there's 4 stars all around. You've got the choice for anybody apart from the guy they banned and the guy they picked. And Ponzinibbio was a good choice. Personally, I'd had my betting favourites between Masvidal and Ponzinibbio as the better guy. But hey ho, that is sometimes the way it goes. Mr. Twinkle Toes didn't aim for your toes, he aimed for your head, and he executed the Executioner. Executioner? Yeah.
Exeter. The Exeter.
Executioner.
What's wrong with it, Doc? What's wrong with it?
Wrong with it.
Every time he loses, we'll just take a letter out of his name and see what we're left with.
100%. But getting back on track tonight, we have moved to the main card of this evening. It is Fight Night 54. I am Mr. Humbledink. We're joined with Doctor. We're joined with Reaper. It's been a great lot of fights we've had so far. We've got that main event of this evening with Leon 27 versus G-Man. That's going to be a brilliant fight, but we never even talked about this. Vuk Gaming versus MM Proxer. Proxer's, for me, Reaper, is somewhere, he's in a place where he should be now. Coming main event in these spots and kind of building and helping his team, because that's where Proxer is in most of the leagues that he's competing in. And he's a fantastic competitor. And that Vuk Gaming, he's got a lot of hate. People absolutely hate him in the chat every single time. So that guy's doing something right, because people notice him. And when you've got people kind of noticing you like that, that's a big fight right there.
Yeah, it is. As you said, Humble, you said it best there yourself. Vuk has a lot of haters. Some people like him, a lot of people hate him, but he's in a co-main event against NM Proxer, and Proxer's no joke. You know, Proxer will cause absolute uproar if Vuk behaves in some type of way tonight, Doc.
Well, we're going to see that fight in the co-main event, but first and foremost, Reaper and Humble, we've got the first 3 fights on the co-main the main card. First, we're going to have a late replacement of Onjay versus Hasboys, followed by Gemini and Megatony with the main card fight being between Lilo, who will be a replacement, versus Mr. Pablo Grips. So, first off, we're going to be in the bantamweight division, hashtag Banyan according to Reaper, but looks like I don't think either of them we're going to see a Yan pick, but who's particularly sure until we load straight into the fight here.
Definitely, it's going to be a great fight. And I believe you said, if I'm correct, that Hasboy fighting on is Oni J. Is that right? Mm-hmm. Oni J's been doing fantastic in the Xbox division. He's currently number 15 in the division, Reaper. And, you know, this could be a make or break, because if he gets beat by a guy who's ranked slightly slower and he's coming on short notice, he could be giving up his spot right there.
Yeah, but it also goes back to the competitive nature of Oni J. He doesn't want to sit around and just wait, you know. He wants to stay active. He wants to get as many rounds in as he can, right, Doc? He's one of those guys that if you tell him, okay, I have a fight for you in, say, now, he's like, mate, I'm already signed in, lobbied up and ready to go and go, Doc.
Yeah, and so far we're going to be having an Aljamain Sterling pick. Now that's kind of on Jay's entire style. This man will take you down. He's looking to hold you on the ground, and then if you are so kind as to flip him over so he gets bottom guard, he'll then go to full guard, and then he'll look for a Kimura, maybe a triangle choke, maybe a guillotine, but his favourite submission is the Kimura. And that's probably what I'm going to expect Onjay to hunt for. Hasboys, on the other hand, he's a striker first and foremost, so he's going to be looking to defend the takedowns. He's going to be looking to pick his opponent from top to bottom. Dillashaw's fantastic all-round, good striking. He's got the signature hooks that he could also use here, Humble. So it's going to be a case of who's going to be able to find the right openings.
Nice work already from Aljamain Sterling, and it was interesting to see TJ Dillashaw talking about Sterling's boxing combinations and sort of striking this week, and I liked what he said. Like, he's very unorthodox, is Aljamain Sterling, and his technique shouldn't technically work, but because he's so unorthodox, it does, and the wrestling as well. Obviously, I was about to mention it, Reaper, and he gets taken down. The wrestling's set up with the unorthodox strikes, and that's why he's so successful. He mixes it together really well.
Yeah, and the one thing that Aljamain Sterling does well is he moves off the back foot and pressures when he needs to. He's not normally coming forward, as he locks in a leg lock here, Doc.
Well, survival time, lovely tracking to begin with, but that escape bar is creeping the hell up. It's interesting to note you end up with different stages of this. Beginning stage means you completely disengage. As you go later on, it means that you end up having a more of a half guard position, maybe a side control depending on the way. As you can see, this stage ends up in side control. Now you can go full guard, but lovely defense there. He's going to stay on top of his opponent. That's a very interesting take. As a grappler, that means your opponent's not scared to stay back, but he decides to disengage, and now he's going to look to work on the feet a bit more here, Humble.
Oh, nice work comes through. And you can tell by the pick he's a natural grappler, and the disengage the lack of disengaging in that submission as well got me worried slightly, but I got me thinking as well, does Oni J need that information? Is he one of the people, you know what it's like, Reaper, they gain information from letting the submission go on a bit longer for later on in the fight, and he wasn't bothered about getting flipped over? Or did he make a tactical mistake? He got me really thinking about those two sort of scenarios right there.
The only thing I really took from that scenario here, Humble, and I'm kind of inclined to agree with you here, but the main thing I took from that is it's round one, right? Now, you know, it was full stamina for Hasboys, right? It was full stamina, and Oni J still locked in that leg up. I think Oni J is thinking, what kind of tracking can I get on this with full stamina compared
Yeah.
to what I can get with no stamina?
Yeah, that's a great take right there. And you know, they're back to the feet right now, and I'm liking the work I'm seeing from OJ. But the striking from Hasboy with TJ Dillashaw, it's going to be a bit cleaner. It's going to be a bit more traditional kickboxing and Muay Thai sort of technique, that bang style. Doc, and the pressure's starting to build on OJ. And he's got to be careful.
He's got to be really careful here, and as you can tell, he's doing that. He's making sure he's not keeping his head on the centre line very often. He's always there pitter-pattering best shots back towards the Dillashaw, and that's kind of making Dillashaw's life difficult in trying to get a read here, because he's hanging around that cage, but Dillashaw doesn't want to engage at any point here, Reaper.
Yeah, I think he feels like if he's going to engage and put himself on the cage, he may get clinched at reverse and then put on the cage himself. The one thing I am noticing is TJ Dillashaw's head health here, Humble, is moving down quite sneakily. I feel like the wrestling was a good show here for ONJ to get that head health down a little bit.
Yeah, and also the lack of wrestling later in the rounds is going to set up the wrestling early in this round, and maybe he'll try and be on top or try and land something, maybe not. But that's as close as it gets right there. There's very little in it, and even the takedowns does not, it doesn't weigh anything unless you do damage. So beautiful fight, beautiful round. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in this one, Doc.
Well, I'm going to make the assumption that Dillashaw won that purely because Dillashaw hits a bit harder than Aljo. But don't quote me on that. The judges are peculiar. This entire game is a bit weird when it comes to judging damage. As I say that, though, Dillashaw's trying to put on this damage back. He's stuck against the cage, coming on the leg kick, and really trying to dissuade the leg kicks by punching him in the face. If you're not going to check leg kicks, just punch him in the face as they do it, and it works very effectively here, Reaper.
Yeah, you can't throw leg kicks in the pocket, Humble, for the simple reason being if you're throwing a leg kick and you're not setting it up with that, right? You're not setting it up and your back is also against the fence. You're not going to be able to get a lot of power on that because your opponent's just in your face and he's ready to uncork that big right hand, that big left hand, whatever the weapon of choice is. Right now, only Jay needs a different way of getting this fight to the ground. I would definitely recommend backing up, clinch, and put him on the cage that way, Humble. It's going to buy him some time, and he's not going to waste as much stamina as he is now.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that prefer that, the clinch work, you use less stamina to kind of drag your opponent about. You've got that sort of take where you can take them into a different position as well and drive them towards the fence. But he's had a stuffed takedown, which absolutely drained his stamina, and mainly because his stamina went so low and his opponent landed some good body shots. As the shot lands, drops him to his ass. Only Jay's in trouble right now, and he's got Hasbro on top of him trying to finish the fight.
Seems like on Jay's trying to play the Paul Craig style of play there, waiting for his opponent to jump into the guard to really do damage. And does decide to get up pretty quickly. Uppercut there, hook there, and he caught him. Ow!
Jesus!
Hasboy's between that first and second round got a read on Onujay's just striking and just came out, made the adjustments and put non-stop pressure. It was two-shot combos non-stop everywhere, landing consistently, Reaper, and he just put on a performance and a half.
Yeah, and it goes back to what Humble said at the start of this fight. Onujay's higher ranked, and he just got knocked out. So what's that going to do moving into next week? Our final cards before the new season.
Well, he fought number 70 as well.
Oh, well, you did. Now you didn't notice it. You didn't say that at the start.
No, what I'm saying though, I try to mention it. The amount. If you take a shot notice fight and you rank top 16 and you want to get into that tournament at the end, and you take a shot notice fight against a tough competitor like Hasboy, there's no easy fights this division, Reaper. And you take against Hasboy and you get caught and you get knocked out, and you just give up your position essentially because there's no way you're going to be in that top 15 in the morning.
Well, he has another week, right? He can sign up next week. Yeah. He can maybe pull it back, Doc, right? I think we'd owe it to him for stepping in on short notice and taking a risk that he might. Only Jay's a great competitor, Doc. He might be all right, I feel.
Yeah, he might be right. He might not be. You'll find out closer to the time. You've got another card, as Humble mentioned. That's one win, that's one loss. It can all change in a matter of moments. It's split decision if you get the fight and how you adapt and adjust to it in the future.
100%. And Doc, you did mention there was a change in plan in this one, but I didn't catch who it was. Can you repeat who's fighting this one?
This will be Gemini Vega versus Mega Tony, but this is the originally scheduled fight. past this, we will have the late replacement of Lilo filling in for Dynamite versus Pablo Gross.
All right. Got you, no problem. So Gemini versus Megatoni. You know, Gemini's been around for a while, Reaper, and we've seen him go up and down the divisions, and Megatoni's the same as well. It's a great fight. It's very evenly matched, and I expect some fireworks in this one.
Hey, Gemini is like a big bag of pick and mix. Some weeks he's on Xbox, some weeks he's on PlayStation. The man is trying to conquer both consoles here, Doc.
Yeah, and that is a viable idea. If you want to commit on both consoles, you can commit on both consoles. We just ask that you sign up for one console per week, make it more easier on the matchmaking so we don't accidentally double book you, since it's one fight per week unless you're putting replacement duty, which sometimes is the case here, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. And it's good, man. You got to keep yourself in and talk about fights. Megatoni's had 19 fights this season. You know, I've had 5, so it's or 5 or 6. And you know, it's crazy when you've had that many fights a season. Reaper, you're experienced. You're not used to the bright lights. But a big opportunity on the main card to have a splash and make these people who are watching, make these fans of this esports league and esports community kind of excited to watch you in the future.
Yeah, Megatoni's been so frequent here in prime time recently. It's great to see to have new blood injected into the division. And Megatoni's known for being a wrestler, a calf user. And he's found himself, Doc, I will say, he's found himself in some position tonight. You know, he's only 2 fights short of a co-main event.
Yeah, he's only 2 positions short of a co-main event, and that's an impressive margin to be, being so close to that spot, being on the main card, in fact, and that definitely puts you higher up, makes you more noticed, and that's going to be really effective for him later down the line.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this. You get extra points if you're on the main card. You get extra points for your position on the card. So being in the main event, being in these positions, you actually get extra points. It's built into the system that you get for having more of a higher placed fight, and that's done on purpose because you earn these positions with your ranking, and when you get to these positions you're able to kind of put yourself in more positions, and obviously knockouts, submissions, finishes earlier in the fight as well, Reaper, that's going to position you higher, and that's kind of what you want to see. So some guys might have even records versus some people who are quite dominant with decisions, but they might have around about the same points.
Yeah, well, it goes back to what you alluded to, Humble. You know, the more fights you have, you're only gaining points. You know, if you're sitting out a week, you're definitely collecting 0 into your purse. If you're fighting every week, losing, you're still gaining points. That's the main thing, Doc, right? You can still find yourself in that top 16. Here, look, I'm 10-9 and I'm ranked 12. Smudger's like 9-1 and he's the champion. That should tell you all you need to know, Doc.
Yeah, and it's just how close some of these records are, how far away some of them, but across the board it's a competitive division, and one win can really make or break your position going into the end of the season, as we always keep going on about end of the season and the rankings, which will then lead to the GP, which will then determine the new title holder for the beginning of the season here.
Are these ready, Doc?
Yes.
What's going on? What's happening with these two sweaty men? Get your towels wiped down, get your walk done, and get in that octagon now. I'm having none of it, Doctor. We're getting this started. We're going to see the first Robert Whittaker pick of this evening. It's going to be against Jack Manson. He's brave to pick Jack Manson, especially Norton 2.
Who was banned? I'm not going to go into the whole ban Whittaker because it doesn't have the same appeal as the hashtag ban Yan, Doc. But who was banned in this bout?
Marvin was banned.
Okay, that's an interesting ban.
What a silly ban.
Nah. Do you know what? Do you know why it's not? Do you know why it's not a silly ban, Humble? I'm going to correct you here, pal. Because Megatoni's a very, very strong wrestler. And if you give him a wrestler that is so dominant as Marvin Vettori, right, in those kind of hands, it can be a lot more dangerous than facing a Robert Whittaker, because Megatoni's going to shoot in this fight. It's his bread and butter. He's going to shoot. And Jack Manson's got some slick submissions here, Doc.
Yeah, that's what you'll be wary of. Vettori has the same slick position, but he's also got a 97 chin. And with someone like Megatoni, if you're Gemini, you're higher ranked, and you can choose if you're going to want to be fighting among Vettori or Jack Manson. You would definitely want to be fighting a Jack Manson more. And so here you can see, though, he's done a fantastic job making reads across the board, just doing it. But so is Gemini. They're both just engaging in that boxing style. It does definitely favour Whittaker's general stats here, though, Pump.
Oh, nice work. Yeah, it does. And Jack Manson's not going to be... Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Oh, we're down. Okay.
Oh, yes.
What a takedown. What a takedown that was. He disappeared, reappeared like a magician and went abracadabra on your back, Reaper.
That's that Division 1 wrestling that is there, Doc.
That is Division 1 indeed, just having the ability to be on the feet and then suddenly on the ground.
It's not Division 1. That's Division 2 and 3/4. That's in between the platforms, that shit is. That's incredible. Oh, Jesus. Knee comes, elbow comes, Harry Potter jokes coming. Nice work though from Whittaker there to kind of go through. The takedown comes again, and it's done well to defend that on one leg, trying to get one of his own, Doctor, and we're back in the centre of the octagon.
Yeah, Hermansson's wizarding ways sadly didn't allow him to get that takedown. Instead, he's currently pushed against the cage by Whittaker. That straight and lead hook doing hella damage to the head, but now we're finally down to the mat. Couple elbows gets fired off there. Straight to that sprawl position, and now maybe we see a guess up again. Who's particularly sure when you're just got Hermansson on top of you? He's got the gilly, but instead, again, we're against this cage, and now time to work that body for Whittaker. He's got to be wearing that stamina.
6 shots he got there to the body. That's dangerous, Reaper. 6 shots against that fence. That's something I'm thinking about if I'm Robert Whittaker there. Beautiful work, gets him back to the fence. Beautiful work to the body. Capitalises on the earlier damage, and now he's got him backed up against that fence.
Yeah, this is where you don't want to be using Jack Hermansson. You want to be moving forward, putting the pressure on Rob Whittaker. Because if Gemini is able to...
Oh my God, again! I'm a wizard! I'm a wizard!
You're a wizard! You're a wizard, Megatoni!
That's cheating, that. That's cheating. If I'm in the opposite corner, I'm calling... But I'm going crazy for that. I don't know if we missed it. I don't know if the stream jumped on the stream, but it looked like it
I don't. The stream's not glitching or anything there, apart from that little speckle at the end there. I think that's maybe Megatoni's doing something on accident. Maybe it's just bad luck in the games being UFC 4. Who's particularly sure? But Hermansson seems to have peculiar wizarding ways to really make sure that he gets you on the ground here.
Oh, he's flying with danger there. He went right down to the bottom of his stamina, didn't care though, really needed to land some offense, and that's what he did there, Reaper.
Yeah, wait till you see the amount of people next week that are going to be using Jack Hermansson in middleweight for 4-star picks. Like, they're literally going to be like, freeze frame, side control.
Freeze frame. Side control. I figured out a little trick. We're going to use the freeze frame to side control. The Division 1 move, the freeze frame to side control. Oh, it's crazy.
People are like, this is going to be great for ranked, Doc.
Ranked is just going to be a bunch of Hermansson. Well, he doesn't need magicians that way. The body lock instead giving him the ability down to the mat, but Gemini gets him straight into the full guard, blocking now a couple of hooks there as well. But you're in full guard. This is the least scary place you can be if you're on bottom, and that is exactly what Gemini wants. He wants just to get back up to his feet. He wants to stay patient, make sure he doesn't get kneed. Does get his back taken, but
beautiful work again. Nice work. Gets turned against the fence. And the knees again. This is going to be... It's massive. I can't believe he's letting a knee right there. Jesus. And I noticed it straight away. He's got him now, Reaper. High kick. Beautiful work.
Gemini is coming on strong here in the middle of round 2. We're not even near the end of this round, Doc. We're in the middle of this round, and Megatoni is allowing himself to be kneed to bits on the cage.
When did it get to the middle of round 2? I thought we were still at the beginning, to be honest.
Nice one.
Jesus Christ. Front kick there, and then knee following suit. Both these guys put on a very high pace. It looks like Gemini is still one who's leading the fight, and Hermansson's trying his damnedest, but as we saw earlier, he's wizarding ways. He could easily come back with a random head kick if he wanted to, and both of these guys just got to mind their P's and Q's and be careful here, Humble.
Nice knee to the body. I always feel like Megatoni's fighting better on the back foot. As I say, that gets caught with the lead hook to the body. Beautiful combination coming from Whittaker. He's starting to stalk his opponent now, trying to bait him into throw some shots by selling up. Oh. And again, the combination comes. The end is nigh, Reaper.
Yeah, Megatoni looks like, as he shoots for a desperation shot there, and the beautiful denial from Gemini. Doc, Gemini is taking over this fight now. He needs to conserve his stamina and not get too overzealous because he's having such a good performance right now.
Yeah, he's having a fantastic performance, but as you mentioned, if that stamina goes too beyond, if you start falling in, if you start going off at your opponent and your opponent, you both have the same stand, that allows your opponent into that fight, and that's the one thing you don't want to be doing if you're trying to make sure you win this fight. Always make sure you have higher stamina than your opponent, because that's how you win the fight. Having higher stam is always the better option here, Humble.
Yeah, nice work. He's defended that takedown over and over and over again. And it's a beautiful way to kind of play. Megatoni is going to struggle. He gets rocked through the guard with a head kick. The body shot comes. The head shot comes. And Robert Whittaker has to defend again, Reaper, but the fortress is tight.
Yeah, he's not turning these takedowns, Humble. For some reason, he just doesn't want to turn them. He's shooting a power double leg. And for some reason, Doc, he's not turning them. And Doc, you know yourself. You're a wrestling man, you know. Doc, you're one of the probably the better wrestlers that I've probably seen fight here, and he isn't turning them for some reason.
It may be the stam, it's maybe the fact that Gemini is just getting it before it turns. That was a wild fight. That fight definitely gone into the favour of Gemini. That first round as well, it's definitely 2-0 into the favour of Whittaker, as you see a head kick lands flush against the head of Hermansson.
Yeah, nice work there to the dome. You know, the foot in the shin, kind of wrapping on there. It was a bit more ankle. If you got the shin, the full shin Reaper, that might have been good. Now the distance was just slightly off. You know, if he gets that full shin on that jawline right there, that Jack Hermansson's not waking up from that one.
Yeah, you know, the ideal position getting that high kick is on the shin. It's a very strong bone. You know, it's going to hurt your chin a lot more than it's going to hurt his poor little shin, Doc.
Yeah, and that is what you always gotta be wary of. If you like your defense, your chin's gonna go quickly, and that's kind of what's happened here with Hermansson. Humble.
Nice work. And shout out to Doc as well, who works both the truck and the back, but go back to the back. The truck has just hit the body, and he's let him off. Into Mountain. This is going to be dangerous. He's going for the leg lock. He can get out of this and get back to the feet if he wants to.
I mean, it depends how it goes. The escape bar's slowly creeping. Obviously, it's a very hard sub overall to get, but it looks like it's going to give Whittaker the position, probably get into side control after this as it creeps up. Maybe get a couple of punches as well. Doesn't look like a hit. Maybe they hit. Who's particularly sure? But we're now into side control. Out of it though.
Yeah. And Gemini straight back to the feet, doesn't want to play around on the ground. He knows he got out of that submission comfortably, Humble. So now he wants to comfortably break Jack Hermansson's jaw. Wait!
Hey, Jack Hermansson's coming for it. He's trying to get one back to Megatoni. The stamina has been low for both of these guys, and when the stamina is low, you only need one shot when someone's vulnerable. Jack Hermansson reminding Whittaker right there, you know. As I say that, he come the knees. Oh, he proved me wrong.
Takedown attempt does go for it now. Maybe a Kimura attempt. Instead, though, we get the half guard straight into that position. Looks, it fakes top mount. Couple of punches. If I'm Megatoni, I'm taking this back up to the feet and I'm trying my damnedest, because you've got no stamina here. Neither you got any stamina, your biggest option here, unless you want to crawl to a possible decision. That's your two options. Now, here we go. Back up to the feet, 2 minutes left on the clock, Reaper, and you've got to imagine if you're Reaper, if you're Gemini here, you're just staying patient and looking for shots like that.
This is it.
This might be it, because he's got Megatoni pushed up against the fence here, and it's not over. I thought that was it, Humble there.
He's death by 1,000 cuts right now, and the 1,000 cuts ends just so happened to be of Robert Whittaker, as Robert Whittaker crumbles the body of Jack Hermansson. Beautiful win for Gemini on Megatoni right there, Reaper.
Yeah, solid win, but again though, Doc, solid fight. Megatoni showed that he does belong on this stage. He did put Gemini in a bit of trouble, right, with the submissions, and you know, he did get Gemini's body held down quite a bit, and his stamina was quite low as well on both men. It might go back to the output that Gemini had, but the stamina was low, and it could have been in danger of a submission as well, Doc.
Yeah, it was across the board. Megatoni had options. It just turned out that Gemini was the better executioner overall, and that's kind of a lot of the time when you get onto this part when you get this on the main card. It's not about are you both good enough, it's which one is the better executioner of the game plan. In that case round, it turned out to be Gemini, but it could as well as been Megatoni if given enough time there, Humble.
Yeah, definitely. And the execution earlier on, Doc, going back to reference. But anyway, we need to get this one going because I believe there's been some talk in the chat about getting it rumbling. And it's going to be, if I'm correct, Doc, you actually, Doc, you can take this one because I know for a fact you know exactly who it is. I believe you said it was Pablo versus somebody else.
Pablo Grips versus Lilo.
Let's go. Lilo's in the chat. He needs to get going. So let's get this fight underway. Let's get Pablo versus Lilo going. And, both of these guys all season have been fighting it out, Reaper, and now they're going to get a chance to show their skills in the main card this evening. It's a big opportunity for both of them.
Yeah, Lilo's one of those guys who always loves to fight here in prime time. He's a name around the scene, and he's taking the fight on short notice as well, Doc. So it speaks to his character to just say, you know what? It's the fight before the co-main. I've already got my party plan for my victory tonight. I've got to rush to that right now. They're already waiting on me, so I think he's planning on taking Pablo Grips out of here quick, and it's going to be a fast fight.
Well, you've got Volkanovski versus Holloway. These two men have gone to decision 3 times, if I'm not mistaken. So, I'm not particularly...
Difficult to finish them. They're very good at not getting finished, them too. They're very, very good.
Volkanovski's got the grappling, he's got the leg kicks, he's got the power, he's a bit short. Max Holloway, on the other hand, played like the Robert Whittaker we saw with Gemini. He's a man of a death of 1,000 cuts, but Lilo is already fighting at a hectic pace, going at him like a killer gorilla. But the Teep's coming out, looking to keep that distance, looking to make Volkanovski respect that distance here, Reaper.
Yeah, since that recent update for Volkanovski, he's kind of turned into like a little mini Mike Tyson, right, Humble? I mean, his power, his footwork, I think his footwork's 100. So Lilo, in my opinion, has the 99. So Lilo, in my opinion, has the better stats in this fight, And with these two as well, none of these men were banned, Humble, which is kind of shocking to me.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, nice work. He drops him to the floor. And Volkanovski, the Baldy Brute, is going after him. He gets back up. He wants to go and get some more damage. And for me, he's the best fighter in the world at the moment. Usman's brilliant, but Volkanovski, he just has everything. I think he's great everywhere. Even submission defense, as you've seen against Ortega. And you can see right now the will, the power, the strategic thinking of Volkanovski shining through as Lilo tries to take his opponent out. A lot of uppercuts coming his way, Doctor.
Yeah, both of these guys are just going at such a fast pace, but they've got the cardio to cope with it. Holloway's throwing head kicks, both of them ducking down. The uppercuts are always there, but the straights does it now. Lovely head movement, just keeping his way out of getting punched, but Udo's trying his damage here, lands a straight with the hook as well, following suit. A jab also gets met, and with 2 minutes 30 left in the first round, it's looking like Volkanovski's just wanting to keep this same pace against the cardio king of Max Holloway here. Humble.
Back in the lead hook as well from Volk. He's throwing it really well and in distance, and we talked about setting up your shots and closing the distance. He's doing a great job with that 99 footwork. It makes it a lot easier to get in that pocket.
Yeah, definitely, and he's moving in and out so fluidly. You'd almost swear like he was floating, Doc, right? And Humble, just to correct you really quickly, Kamaru and Volk actually aren't the best fighters in the world. It's actually a man named Colby Chaos Covington. So put some respect on that man's name. Yeah, who's that?
Didn't he lose
Doc,
to
Usman?
Eddie,
no, he didn't lose. No,
Volk is the best, and he's putting on a clinic right now in this octagon. Reaper, he's putting on a clinic. We could debate that all day, but it's been a great performance for Lulo. But if I'm Pablo Grips, I'm making this go 3 rounds. The guy needs to get off.
Well, if Volkanovski doesn't want to go 3 rounds, and he's acting like he doesn't, he's got a couple of stuns. I think he's got a knockdown to his name as well. Max Holloway finally coming back, but again, that power only goes so far when you're fighting the might of Volkanovski. Every engagement is met with chock-a-block power versus 1,000 cuts power, and I don't know who's winning here, but both of them are still just going at it non-stop.
Are we watching a flyweight fight at the moment, Reaper?
I know. It doesn't feel like they're in like fast forward or something. The way these two men are moving are actually moving like legit flyweights. You'd swear you're watching Brandon Moreno and Kai Kara France fight again. But I will say one thing, Humble, going into this second round. Lilo, he's moving and he's using that footwork so clean that he's catching Max after every second or third strike that Max throws. And he's using the straight. He's not using round hooks to catch him. He's using a straight, and it's kind of catching me that Pablo Grips isn't moving his head off the center line a little bit, just like that.
He starts to come right there, and the elbow comes afterwards. It's a lot of that is due to the leg kicks that were coming in, and a few of the shots that was kind of getting thrown. Mainly the lead hook, as we talked about earlier on, was catching him when he was slipping. So it's good work at the moment. I feel like Lilo is in autopilot, just trying to get his opponent out of there. He wants to get out. He wants to get out the house. People are waiting on him, and Pablo Grips is taking his time. He's starting to warm into the fight. And Lilo needs to be careful. He's not overzealous. He gets caught like that, Doctor.
That is your issue. The Grips now starting to get a read on his opponent. The head kicks are coming out, and Lilo seems like he understands when they're going to be coming. That's also something you've got to be very wary of if you're Holloway. He's died a couple of times, so every time throwing the head kick. So if you maybe fake it, go for a front kick, go for an uppercut, something just to mix it up to do it. But instead, a takedown attempt doesn't get it there. And with 3 minutes left on the clock, there's still a long time to work across the board.
Oh.
With the lead hook again. Pablo Grips is starting to pour on him. Max Holloway is starting to get in that floor reaper.
Yeah, that head held for Lilo is absolutely disappearing. Just like the magician earlier on, the wizard, you know, he's making his head held disappear here, Humble.
Beautiful work, and we're hoping Volkanovski's going to start piping up again. Lilo seems to have put his foot off the gas. He's starting to take it a bit more easy, not going balls to the wall as Pablo Grips is starting to get his foothold in the fight. We've seen it coming on. It's whoever the big sort of damage and shock comes from these guys, whoever that next big one is going to take the momentum going into the early rounds, but the stamina is stopping that sort of combination strike, and we're not going flyweight anymore, Doctor.
No, Holloway is deciding to put the pace on his landing. He's finally got through the general chin and knows what he's doing. He's not.
He's making way. Lilo's taxi's outside, but he's like, you're going to stay here until I get my flash KO, Doctor.
Oh my days.
An ankle kick in retaliation, doesn't get it, and now a front kick gets to stun the hooker slow, but trying his damnedest, he's gassing out, ducks under the hooks himself, and a spinning heel kick. Oh my.
Nice work.
What in the world is that?
Whoa, he was rocked KO'd me through. Well, I've got to say, Reaper is the best technical hook from a rocked KO'd fighter I've ever seen in any fight ever.
Yeah, that was like a Saturday night pull punch. That was right. That had like no technique. That's
beautiful.
like after you have like 10 or 11 points, and some lad claims he's an MMA fighter in the pub, and then he throws one of them.
A drunken swing to knock out Volkanovski. Holloway showing he's better than McGregor in that aspect. These two put on one hell of a performance, putting on a fight for the ages. Neither wanted to take a step back, and neither did until the last second. And Jesus wept Christ.
Jesus wept Christ, indeed, Doctor. But that does lead us on to our core main event of this evening. We have been talking about this already tonight, Reaper. It is a fantastic fight that we have got against NM Proxer, who's currently on a bit of a tear in the PlayStation division. He's doing really well, currently ranked 28th. We talked about trying to get in that top 16. He's going to have a great opportunity to do so because he's going to be fighting number 17, very much loved Vuk Gaming, who a lot of people have been talking a lot of trash on in every chat that he's ever fought in so far. The hated man versus the beloved Proxer. It's going to be a fantastic fight this evening, and these two guys are going to get to throw down next.
Yeah, and you know what? Sorry to interrupt you, Doc, but just very quickly, I was just thinking, right, when Humble said it there, Vuk is ranked 17, right, Doc? So he's taking a risk here tonight coming up against NM Proxer because Vuk needs to win tonight. He needs to win. He needs a statement. He needs the points desperately because he's only 1 point. He's only one position off of that Grand Prix, Doc. You know, Vuk is 3-1, 4-1 here in prime time, so he needs this win for these points tonight, Doc.
Yeah, he does, and here we go. Makhachev as Vuk, Proxer is McGregor. This is a fight that's going to be an interesting one. Vuk has varying opinions from the community. He is known for his intense grappling, his clinch work, and his general ability to make someone's life difficult in the cage. 3-0 in the favour of Proxer, but We're under the primetime lights, Underall, and that is always a big difference.
Yeah, 100%. Both guys are coming in hot, and 3-0, I mean, crap, we've seen it before. And a lot of people, they talk a lot, and he's picked Makhachev for a reason. Proxer is a Conor Stan. He likes to pick, Conor McGregor, and he really likes to put it on his opponents, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's bouncing the head around Vislam Makhachev at the moment, or Makhachev, I think he said it was said. Reaper, and you're a Conor Stan. It's like this matchup against each other. It's Khabib's little brother, essentially.
Yeah, and did you see that little bow that they did simultaneously at the start of the fight? That was really cute. It's nice to see McGregor make friends with one of Khabib's little teammates, Doc.
Yeah, but as we say that, Makhachev now takes the back, looking for the back sit. In lovely defense there, though, by Proxer. And the jab, the straights, the hooks, all going at it again, looking to just find any opening he can, using the power of McGregor just to put Islam Makhachev to sleep.
And not to blow smoke up Proxer's ass, but every time I've seen him in each league that he's competing in, the higher he competes in that league, the better he gets. The more like he's trained for that fight, the more important it is to him, the more efforts and sparring rounds he puts in, and you can always tell when he comes out that he's ready for the opponent with a game plan. He's ready to perform. He's always sharp straight away in the first round, Reaper.
That was a lot of smoke blown there, Humble. I didn't know you had it in you to be so humble toward another man. I know, yeah. So Humble's doing a great job of promoting another camp, surprisingly, Doc.
I mean, well, NM is part of the current champ of Smudger, just to bring it on to that point there. So you ought to imagine that Proxer and Smudger have down put their hands in, and Smudger is a fantastic dominant champion so far, fighting tomorrow included. So something to be note of there. As we go back to this fight, though, lovely jabs. A front kick does get put into the McGregor's face, but that's probably the most substantial hit Makhachev has landed so far.
Definitely nice work from Islam Makhachev there, and he's on the outside right now, but he can't be doing this. If he can't take Proxer down, he's got to find a way to get in that clinch, and he's struggling to do this one thing that we've alluded to, constantly gone to in this card, Reaper, and that is close the distance. He can't find his way in that pocket to kind of go for the takedowns, and he needs to, because it's going to become too much. He can't keep taking shots to the block or to the chin.
Yeah, but the one thing I'm noticing here, as I was about to say there, the one thing I was noticing, he was actually happy to stand and trade with McGregor for a bit, Doc, until he shot that double leg. But he's got to get himself off this cage. He's doing such a good job of staying defensively sound at some points of the fight, but he's got to circle off and not let stuff like this happen. When you stand still against someone with the power of McGregor, his shots are amplified by 100. This could be it. You guys sounded like the minions there. It was like, whoa.
That's exactly what it is.
Banana.
The little spaceman from Toy Story at the same time. This is a great performance from Proxer, and we're in awe, I guess you would say, Reaper, because Proxer's he's ranked 20-something, 24. I know how good Proxer is. A lot of people in the community know how good Proxer is, but he hasn't quite shown it in prime time yet. And for him to kind of do this to Vuk Gaming, it's very impressive.
It is very impressive, because Vuk is one spot away from being in that Grand Prix. So Vuk is fighting for his life here. And Vuk has the crowd against him as well. That's another thing. When you've gotten basically a community against you that want to see you lose, Doc, it puts that weight on your shoulders to really want to prove everybody wrong in that sense.
Oh, he catches him.
Oh, Jesus. Wept. This is having a fantastic time. Uppercut there as well. Doubling up on the jabs as well. And here we go.
This is a crucifixion right now, Reaper. This is a baptism. There's something going on in this fight. There seems to be no offense from Vuk Gaming as Proxer tries to end the fight and does so with a beautiful uppercut. Proxer gets the win, Reaper.
I feel like Proxer needs to change his name to the Executioner, because he just absolutely executed that man. He baptized him. He led him into this world. He took him out of this world, Doc. And Conor McGregor gets his revenge against the Khabib Nurmagomedov teammate.
Yeah, that uppercut, as you can see, even fast in slow motion, knocked him two ways sideways into next Friday. That was a fantastic performance from McGregor. He kept his back against that cage and just went off at him every single time.
And I could lip read as well. And when he went down there, he shouted "Khabibi" as he hit the floor, and it was a beautiful knockout. But That being said, the co-main event, Reaper, it's been fantastic. The main event is upon us. It is Leon 27 versus D-Man. It's an interesting pick. It's Volkanovski versus Charles Oliveira. It's not something we often see in these sort of main event slots. And it's going to be a brilliant little style clash of matchups because this fight could actually happen.
Yeah, and it's at lightweight as well. So you have the boost attributes of Charles Oliveira and a 4.5 pick in Volkanovski. So it's definitely interesting to think who was banned here. I'd imagine it was a McGregor or it was a Dustin Poirier ban. Would make the most sense to me. But in saying that, Doc, they're way behind this fight than we let on because G-Man's on a 2-fight skid since losing that championship. He lost it in emphatic fashion to NM Smudger, who is now the champ, and Sean Corkery got his revenge last week. G-Man cannot afford to go on a 3-fight skid coming to the close of this season. He needs all the points he can get. He needs all the momentum he can get going into that new season because he's kind of bagged his spot in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, and that's exactly the point. I wouldn't say that a 2-man skid is that bad when one of those losses is to the current champion.
It is when you're defending your belt against the challenger.
Yeah,
Doc.
this is very true. It is fair do. Up here, though, we do have Leon, who's been on a 3 to 4 fights of wrecking crew. So now this is where it all is the time to shine for G-Man. G-Man's got to show that maybe there's a reason why he's having to fight this high up. The reason why Leon hasn't had any competition up until now. He's 3-0, but will that O become a 1? Let's find
it's
out.
the former champ. It's the former guy, the former champion of the PlayStation division versus an up-and-comer that has not been defeated yet. This is your likes of your Khamzat Chimaev versus like a Nate Diaz. Even though Nate Diaz wasn't champion, he's been at the top of the division. He's a grizzled vet. He's well respected amongst the community. And when you get that guy who's undefeated coming up, who's 4-0, I believe you said, Doctor, flying up the division, he's going to have to defend his spot right now because Leon 27 could be putting himself in prime position for a title fight at 5-0.
Yep. Hopefully that back blocks the area. Always good. Yeah, both of these guys starting out fairly close together. The uppercuts coming out is looking like he knows Leon's game plan and working that body. And the hooks are also coming out. Teeps coming forward now. A leg kick also being fired. Both of these guys working and scattergunning shots across the board using the jabs, using the Teeps, using the legs of either fighter.
Speed's evident right now, Reaper.
Yeah, it's not a Charles Oliveira fight till he's hit the deck twice, Doc.
And then he gets a +10 to his attributes. This is normally the way it goes. Live kicks there following suit as well. This seems like it's going to be a scar going across the body. Lovely spinning elbow there, but the body kick to counter is seeming like it's going to be Leon's game. He's going to just stick and close that boxing, make G-Man back off, and then just slowly gas him out.
Yeah, it's nice work right now. He's going to the body, doing a really good job, and he's sticking on the outside so far. Charles Oliveira, for me, got to punish your opponent when they're coming into that centre, and you can't be taking too many shots down the pipe like that. He's moving right erratically right now. Didn't like that from him there, Reaper.
Leon is so crisp, man. It's the first thing I've noticed. Right before that takedown, Doc, he was so crisp with them shots. He picked them shots. That wasn't like a wild kind of combination. That was one of those combinations that he has clearly worked on and kind of read G-Man's head movement there.
Yeah, that combination was kind of a statement of, I'm going to stand here, you're going to stand there, you're going to take my shots, and if you move, you're going to get hurt worse. And it just seemed like that's Leon's kind of striking style. It's either you take his shots, or if you don't take those shots, Humble, you're going to get hurt worse. But currently you're in G-Man's territory of him being a grappler. He's currently on the ground. He's looking for positions. He's Oliveira. He's got probably the best subs in the game to possibly look for. But here we are into side saddle.
He's in trouble right now. There's G-Man on top here. It's difficult. Oh, G-Man's chose to pick the sprawl position. You don't often see this, but it might be a wise decision if he's got some tricks up his sleeve and can kind of maintain the position, get free shots to the body. He's going for the submission. He's going around that neck right now. He's looking to reach across the ear and then lock up and cinch it underneath the armpit. As he follows his opponent, he doesn't quite get a good sort of read on it there, Reaper, but a good little start to that submission there. It's got to be positive if you're going for something a bit more strong.
Yeah, it's round one. He's got the fight on the ground. It's just to make those reads. And just going back to what Doc said about Leon striking there, he said, that's something your mother says to you when you've done wrong. Your mother basically says, you're going to stand there, I'm going to stand there, and I'm going to hit you and eat my shots, and you're going to pay for it, Doc.
Up all the strikes and there. That was a dangerous ending. It was a very dangerous ending for someone like Leon. A lot of success yeah, but it's a lot of success on the striking department for Leon. It's a lot of success on the ground for G-Man here, Reaper. I'm pretty certain to say it's pretty much your typical striker versus grappler matchup, true and true, currently.
Oh, he gets him down again. Start of the round, Reaper.
Yeah, it's a great game from G-Man here. He realised he had so much success. He almost got, Leon's head health went red there at the end of that round, and G-Man now needs to remain calm and pick his shots for the takedown humbles, because if he can remain calm and pick his shots, he may have more success than what he thinks he will in this fight.
Yeah, 100%. And you've got to mix that together. G-Man's got to use his takedown to set up his shots, but it's the footwork of Volkanovski. I believe that footwork carries quite a bit, and he feels like you can tell it as well. That's the problem. Doc talked about earlier on. You even take your shots or you move, and 90% that's because of the footwork. The footwork is so quick and he's so fast when he moves. It's very difficult to time him. Well, a great job to get a turn and takedown right there. Gets him on his back. And he's going to go to mount. And we've seen how dangerous this was before, Doc.
The get-ups, though, G-Man needs to read those. He needs to read the get-ups. Otherwise, you can have those issues. If you don't deny the correct way, if you're pre-denying anyway, that allows someone like Leon the ability to get up.
Oh, he knocks him down.
Head kick.
Oh, he styles him.
The flex.
Nice work, goes for the takedown again. Tries to get a turn takedown. Leon's going to have an opportunity right now. Is he going to... Yeah, I was going to say he's going to wait for his stamina to get back up. He does. G-Man might have made a mistake. Goes to the body. A little bit of damage right there, but a nice kick at the end of that combination, Reaper.
Yeah, that's a very mature decision, right, Humble? You alluded to that a couple of weeks ago with me when I was fighting. I wasn't in a mature state hit the flex as well. You have to have a mature state to let your stamina regenerate before you throw those two knees, because it can really hurt you as well in that position, Doc.
Yep, it can do, but here we are, a minute 50 left on the clock. Oliveira is down but not out. He's been in this position multiple times. He's been dropped, so he's got a +10 to attributes. It's just whether or not he finds the opening to do so. Here's the question.
Nice work. That beautiful body shot right there. That was a little straight to the body, and you can see G-Man reacting to that now. We're trying to land some uppercuts. He's going to get a bit of interest, and a bit of a mistake from Leon right there, but manages to recover, gets the turn and takedown. Denial, goes for the slam, doesn't get it, Reaper. We're back here now, and Leon is in control of this fight.
He is really in control. He's using Volkanovski very well. He's tailing Charles Oliveira's face, and he's just kind of picking and prodding right now. The game plan for G-Man has become very evident here, Doc, and he's using a lot of stamina trying to get these takedowns.
Yeah, he is. It's also interesting to note just how Volkanovski's using a lot of it. He's just loving that rear body kick. And as you can see, every time he's paying great attention.
Oh, he catches him! Oh, he nearly gets him again! And he's got no stamina left, Reaper.
No, he doesn't. And you can see now Charles is wearing it bad. His hands are coming low, Doc. He gets the takedown at the end of the round just to survive, basically. He's going to need to get some stamina regeneration, because I don't feel like G-Man might last the next round if he doesn't.
Yeah, you've got to hope that recovery is going to be good, because otherwise he's in for a world of pain going into this. It should also be noted, just a quick analysis of Volkanovski's stance, basically, is that whatever, he's always making sure to have an open stance. If his opponent's in orthodox, he's going southpaw. If his opponent's in southpaw, he's going orthodox. He always wants that rear body kick open to that body. He's done that throughout this entire fight so far. Always digging, and
it's over. That's it. Leon, he gets up again. He's just got another 10 plus attributes, and Oliveira is starting to become superhuman. It's incredibly hard to knock this man out, but I do believe G-Man needs to land something of substance to change this fight, because the course it's going at the moment is in the favour of Leon, and dinner is served at the moment, Reaper.
Yeah, but you know, at the same time, I watched G-Man submit Sean Corkery with less stamina than this dog, so I can't count him out yet.
Yeah, that's the issue. You can't count G-Man out because the man's insane. And now we get down onto the ground and you got Kimura's, you've got any fucking possibilities you want to, but instead we end up in top mount. Though get into half guard, denies to side control. Now this gets dangerous territory if... No, do the get up. Uh-oh. This could be risky. Anytime that stamina, a single deny could be it if Leon's not careful. An inverted triangle, it's an viable attempt here. Now looking to do it. It's going to be slow, it's going to be steady. He is going to have quite a difference. This is very dangerous position.
Nice work right there. Nice work right there. Goes to back to half guard, pushes up. He's going to try to pass back into side control. G-Man's doing well right now, but very little stamina.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, very little stamina, but he's still got enough stamina, I believe, to lock up a submission. See, and this
that's the riskiness of it.
This is a strong submission too, Doc. This will creep up quick in the later stages.
He's trying
he
to
lets
get
it go.
He's trying to get a read on it and he just can't. The arm triangle's a possibility. No, and Niba! Oh my god!
It's over. I do not believe this. G-Man,
this.
He's going to get the strikes. You know it's over. I am telling you now, there's no way. Oh, wait there. He's fighting it. He's fighting it. Oh my god, he's going to get out.
Is he going to get out? I don't know.
Leon 27 is trying to hold on to his undefeated feet. He's going to get it. G-Man has not done it. I don't believe it.
Oh my god, that's an impressive job by Volkanovski managing to get the defense off that. Now getting up to their feet. That was Ortega versus Volkanovski style. Christ on
so important. So important for him, Reaper, as well. So important for an undefeated fighter who's got all that confidence. Show button earlier on to realise that could have been finished right there.
Oh my god. Going for himself, looking for the ground and pound finish. Oh, he's only just trying to
That's it. That's it. That is over. Crazy.
Oh my god.
What a crazy fight. Oh my days. Like, end of the day, that could have went either way for 1 second there. And G-Man, he's gonna kick himself. He could have had it one, Reaper.
Yeah, I swear to God, when I saw that leg lock going in, Doc, I was like, oh my god, he's going to do it again. How does he deal with the Shap's Unstoppable? But then he eats a knee and it's like, good night, G-Man. That's a 3-fight skid now since losing the championship. And Leon 27, undefeated, 6-0 now, Doc.
I think he's 5-0 now. I believe he's 5-0, Doc. Am I right?
It's something. I think it's 5. I don't think he's 6. I'm pretty sure it's 4.
I think he's 5, but that still puts him in the top 5 or the top 10 right there. It's massive because obviously the guys who are going to need fights next week. The only other person who's kind of undefeated in that area is actually Doctor himself. So I know it's crazy, but he did a great job. It was a fantastic performance. And what I'd like to say as well, that's incredibly important for his development in sort of the areas as well, Reaper, because he learned right there that fight, he made a big mistake right there. Instead of finishing your dinner like he should have, being dominant, you see it with Prox earlier on, he made a mistake of kind of taunting his opponent a bit, letting him back into the fight. And into that, he needed to get finished.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, that leg lock attempt was like G-Man's last go, and it did show a lot about Leon's submission defense, Doc, that he still has it there, even when he has no stamina being as low as it was. He still has the wherewithal and the skill to escape those submissions.
Yeah, his stamina was gone. Honestly, he had no right getting out of that, but yet somehow he pulled it out. That's condolences to G-Man. Fantastic job attempting the back flat rear naked choke and the knee bar. And Leon for just reading it and doing a fantastic job on that defense is a reason he's undefeated.
Incredible night of fights throughout the card tonight. We do appreciate every single person that came to join us tonight for this incredible card of Fight Night 54. Please do come and join us tomorrow night, Doctor. We've got a fantastic card at Primetime MMA 69. We've got Smudger versus Sean Corkery is our main event of tomorrow night, and I know Smudger's in the chat right now. He's going to be defending his belt against B3 Sean Corkery, a great fight in itself. We've got Naz fighting on the card as well. We've got Jakey versus Jamie Bucks in the co-main event. Caliber on there, Apolot's on there. The undercard as Dino, Duck and Quack, Chief Den. There's so many great fights tomorrow. Be me, Jay Dime, and Cyrus in the booth. It's going to be brilliant. Doc, any final words?
That is it for a stacked night of cards. This card has been immensely impressive. Congratulations to all the fighters and wins. Condolences to all the losers, but that is us done for tonight. As Humble said, as you can see, we will be back tomorrow with Primetime 69, 3:30 Eastern, 8:30 BST. And with that, stick around for the raid at the end and have a good night.